Hi friends. Well, here we are, finally finished, well, almost finished with the 2022 midterm election cycle. These cycles and days seem to extend out longer and longer after every election. There used to be a time when you'd vote, and before you went to bed that night, you'd know who the winner was. That seems to be transforming and changing. So at the making of this video, the Democrats have held control in the Senate. It's just a matter of will they have 50 or 51 seats, depending on the results from the runoff in December between candidate Warnock and candidate Walker. Also at the making of this video, the House of Representatives is one seat away from moving to Republican control, and we believe that is an inevitability given where things sit, which is essentially exactly what we stated in our pre-midterm election analysis, which is that we felt the Republicans would take control of the House, and it was a toss-up leaning Republican at the time for the Senate, but the Democratic Party had massively overperformed in some pretty important areas of the country, leading to them retaining control of the Senate. And you've seen the market begin to rally after that, those midterm election results, some of which are not final yet, but we're not buying it. We stated clearly that we did not believe that the results of the midterm election would determine likelihood of recession or not in 2023. There is one institution and body that is going to be the driver of whether we move into recession in early to mid 23, which seems fairly likely at this point, or whether we stop short of that recession, and that's the Federal Reserve. And what we also had come out right after the midterm elections was CPI, or core inflation measurement, showing that for consecutive months that the CPI fell to most recently just over 7.7%, which is nearly 0.5% reduction in where the CPI index was for the month of September. So falling over 0.5 percentage point moving into October, after peaking at over 9% in the late summer. And so what the trajectory looks like on inflation is this, and we do believe that it's making its slow, and I mean slow, ascent down towards more normalized level. But this is a long road. It is not a quick fix. And remember, while the markets and some pundits believe that the stock market can begin to rally from here because the Federal Reserve will back off its interest rates hike, we're not buying that either, because the Federal Reserve has stated time and again that they are aiming to get inflation back down to the 2% long-term level. We're at almost 8%. That is a long journey to 2%. And so what we believe will happen is that the Federal Reserve will raise rates again in December, either 50 or 75 basis points, and that depending on inflationary data for November and possibly December, they may look again to raise rates at the first of the year. Now, a couple of key factors which will likely determine whether we do in fact move into a recessionary environment in early to mid 23. Number one is going to be consumer spending through the holidays. Number two is going to be corporate profits, which have for the third straight quarter outperformed for 2022. So the corporate profits for the fourth quarter, consumer spending through the holidays, and core inflationary data. This will make the Fed's decision at the beginning of next year very important for what 2023 will or won't look like. But we've said it before, we'll say it again, we do not believe that the midterm election results will determine the outcome or likelihood of recession in 2023. And if I'm encouraged by one thing, and I've stated this privately on phone calls and meetings and in speaking engagements I've had, since 1950 there have been 18 midterm elections. We just finished our 19th. 18 of 18 times since 1950, the stock market is higher on April the 30th following a midterm election than it was on November 1st before the midterm election. So let me say that again. 100% of the time since 1950, the market is higher on April the 30th after a midterm election than it was on November 1st prior to the midterm election. So we could still be in a recessionary or near recessionary environment and find ourselves as investors with the market higher in that environment than it is today. So stay tuned. The December and first of the year meetings for the Federal Reserve are important. We expect the House to go finally to the Republicans, leading to a stalemate in Washington, which is no new economic legislation for the next 24 months. And hang tight for consumer spending, corporate profits, and the Federal Reserve, and we'll get a window into what to expect in 2023. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.